I want to welcome everyone to this episode of Finding Focus. I'm Kathleen Davenport, your host, and today I have a wonderful longtime friend joining me. Her name is Janet Wiszowaty, and Janet and we've lost count of really how many years it was. Did we ever figure out how?
Yeah, in 2011, we met
Okay,
at, Trainer.
train the trainer at Jack Canfield's training,
Yeah,
where we were learning how to actually not only empower and deepen and enhance our own personal development, but we were also learning now how to train others in that
yeah.
same realm. So we took a year-long course with that, and then obviously we've just stayed connected ever since. So it's been a great journey. But the reason I wanted to have Janet on this conversation today is that Janet has an amazing story of finding focus herself, being refocused, and then transforming into different ways, as we all have over the years. And what I want Janet to do is just share from her point of view and to help others realize how they can shift and change as the tides shift and change as well, and what that can mean for our lives, and how we can actually go about doing that. So, by way of a quick other introduction for Janet, Janet is a veteran of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force, correct? Where you were an emergency dispatcher for the police. And that I
Correct.
just find fascinating all into itself. So you're going to tell me all about that. But over the years, Janet has now transformed into a visionary coach, an author, and an international speaker. And all of these transformations that has gone on in her life, each one we could probably spend an hour on by itself. So we're gonna delve who knows? We may do this again because there's so much juicy information.
Part 1, part 2.
Part 1, part 2, exactly, and just to be continued as we need to. So I hope all the listeners here today will take away at least 1 or 2 nuggets of something that you might find empowering in your own lives. So with that, I want to just welcome Janet to be here on this episode of the podcast and tell her how grateful I am for all of her friendship throughout the years and so much of the laughter and the learning that we've shared together. So so Janet, welcome, and again, I just want you to share with me any other little tidbits that I might not have covered. There's so much to you. You've got such depth and breadth. Um, in your background. So just help me with a little bit more introduction to you because also I want to let people know I'm in Hawaii, you're in Canada, and we were just sharing talks about what the weather's like where she is. She's got a snowstorm going on. So Janet, I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes
In
here.
March.
Yeah, in March, right? Here we are.
Yes, in
S-
March, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm in the foothills. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, and so we're 4 hours from Jasper and, in the foothills of, the Rocky Mountains. So we can get some crazy weather just like Hawaii can get crazy weather, just
right?
like anywhere in the world can get crazy. And we all adapt, right?
Right.
And, so just to go, Kathy and I just, we just had such a wonderful experience in this Train the Trainer. And there were 60 of us from 14 different countries coming together with Jack Canfield. It was amazing and a learning experience that has never quit.
Right.
It's just, we keep learning, right, Kath?
Right.
We just keep
Right.
learning and learning and experiential and trial and error. And uh, so I started off as a high school dropout, married at 18, two kids by 21. My husband joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So I was a spouse for 10 years before I joined.
Oh my goodness.
And you want to think of just shifts? My husband would, it was funny. Like I could then be looking at his working with other officers thinking, "Oh, that's what their life is like?" And then he would phone me up. I was in a communication center. He'd say, "It's lonely at home when nobody's home." And I'd say, "Well, welcome to my world." Like, really, start thinking of your partners job and your job or career, or whatever it is, how much do you understand of your other partner's world? Really? And so I didn't have much confidence. I always thought I wasn't very smart, but I was very blessed to have this career fall in my lap. And I ended up working with a woman that had um, a master's degree in education. And she said, Janet, you're curious about everything. Go back to school. And I said, no, I'm not smart enough. She says, oh, yeah, you are. I should know. I'm, educator. Go write a mature student test to get into college or university. Like, I didn't know anything about that. Like, guys, 72. Like, we grew up with school. We grew up in a town of 500 people. We had one curriculum, and that was university entrance curriculum. I'm not university. I wasn't. Like, I was a CD student. It was the A students that went on to university. So,
Mm.
and at that time in the 60s, right? What was the chances for a career? You could be a secretary, you could work in a store, you could be a wife of a farmer because we were surrounded by farmers. There wasn't anything that was attractive to um a stewardess. I wanted to be a stewardess because I read a book at 9 years old about Vicky gets her silver wings and I wanted to be a stewardess. But and in that time, you had to be a certain height and you couldn't wear glasses.
Oh, wow.
And so that was out. Now they take anybody that can pass the course, right? Anyways, that's me. Long story short, I did uh, close to 40 years
Mhm.
uh, combined service as my husband transferred a lot. And so every time we moved, I went to a different college or university and I had to find another job. So I've got what we call broken service,
Ah, okay.
but it so I've got 23 years of pensionable service, but I did longer than that. But I've had the most amazing experience in life that as an ad, like at my age now, to talk to my younger self would to be, hey girl, you're going to do amazing things you can't even imagine.
Isn't that isn't that such a
And
great
that's what,
thought?
yeah, yeah. And that's where I come into all this learning that I've done in that and where I go, I want people and especially women to know what they believe they are or who they are or what they're capable of is somebody else's thoughts, not necessarily or somebody put them there for you. And that if I can be that one person like Liz was for me, then that your world will just change like you never believed.
Exactly right, and I so think that is a great message, and just kinda to layer on to that, the other part of that is it can happen at any age and at any stage.
Any age.
I see so many people, men and women, who think, "Okay, I've retired from one career now, what am I gonna do now? I'm just gonna kinda sit around," and they just feel like, "Okay, this is it. I've done everything that I'm going to do." But then there are the other people that I see who are like, "Oh, no. This is just beginning now. This is just the beginning. I don't care that I'm 65, 70, whatever the age might be." They're like, "Get up and go. This is still I'm still alive. I've still got things to do, and I've still got a lot of energy to do it." And I love being around those kinds of people, and that's the energy that the ageless people, that's the kind of energy that I truly enjoy seeing and seeing happen and being nurtured by them and then being in the position, as you say, to nurture them as well. I think that's
Yeah.
such a powerful place to be on both sides of that.
Yeah, and that's not to say that there haven't been bumps. And life is real. My husband had a heart attack at 43 years old.
Oh my goodness, I did not know that.
Only 3 months, 4 months, because we moved in March from Vancouver, British Columbia, to Toronto. He got transferred to Toronto, and that was March and August long weekend, he had a heart attack.
Wow.
And so we went through that journey, but it's how we handle things, right? So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. He's sitting on the edge of the bed, just going back and forth. I knew instinctively right away what was happening. The blessing, like we always have to look at the blessing. As tragic as some things are, there are nuggets. So I
Mhm.
got him to the hospital right away. New hospital, like 10 minutes away. Like I could get him to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning faster than an ambulance could get him there. And I ran into emergency. I said, my husband's having a heart attack. The nurse says, okay, let's go. Wanders out, opens the door. Oh my gosh, this, do this. And we had wonderful, wonderful experiences, as wonderful as you can get in that circumstances. It was a brand new hospital, and they were wonderful to both of us. Um, it was Les had never seen a doctor there. I probably had found one and have put his name on the list. Anyways, how I dealt with it, some people would say they fall apart or whatever,
Mhm.
but I'm kind of different. I'm kind of like, I didn't want my husband to see me falling apart. So when he was clear and while they were getting ready to take him to CCU, I went home, had a shower, put on makeup, got put on nice clothes, went back to the hospital. The inspector from his section came, and I believe they're thinking they're gonna talk to somebody that's fallen apart, and here I am all put together, and they're sort of like, "Who is this person?" But, that's just me, and we just moved there. I only knew one person there who had been posted in BC when we had been, that had moved there. So I called her because our kids are teenagers, and she went and got the kids and looked after them. But really, we didn't have any family or anything there. But what I did is so cool, guys, like how everything just sort of comes together. Les had always wanted to go on a cruise. I said, no, I'm not going on the water. I don't like the water. I'm a prairie girl. Anyways, so I booked us on while he was in CCU. I booked us on a cruise a year and a half out. And I came back and I says, "You damn well better get better. I paid for it."
I
And
love
the coolest thing, it was an RCMP planned cruise. It was the second one they were having. And the nurse he had in CCU, her husband was RCMP. They just transferred a while ago into Toronto. They had been on the first cruise. So she was telling him all about it. Like, really, when
right?
you put it out there expecting for miracles or whatever, as opposed to our thoughts are so quick to go to tragedy.
Mhm.
But that happens. Somebody says something bad to you. How many times do you run it through your head without thinking of all the positive stuff?
Right? I read a study once that said, if you ask somebody, "Tell me something that happened to you last week," the brain automatically goes to the negative side of something that might have happened because the emotions surrounding negativity are so much stronger than something positive that happened. So you actually have to really focus on the positive aspects because the negatives ones just want to creep up just like that.
Yeah.
And I think even just having that awareness can
Yeah.
shift your thinking if you just recognize that, hey, this is just a natural tendency. This is just what happens is that negative stuff piles on and jumps ahead of the line, so to speak. Um, but just having that awareness that that's where you tend to go, and then you can shift the narrative within yourself. But that's exactly it. It's because it's such a powerful emotional state that
Yeah.
people just tend to gravitate to that right away. So it's easy to think of things bad that have happened to us. And so we have to consciously shift and say, okay, yeah, this is what's good. This is what's the good thing that's
But
coming out.
our bodies take all of that you've, like all that trauma, and hang on to it. And if,
Yeah.
and as positive as I could be and stuff, I was that positive right through his treatment and everything right through. So that happened in August. He had his procedure done to remove a blockage in October, and in January my body fell apart.
Wow.
I crashed, like, I couldn't deal with anything, and I was finally diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Oh my goodness.
And, so for those who might not know, it's an autoimmune, and, I was seeing somebody at the naturopathic college just to keep me balanced and stuff, and they're the ones that actually diagnosed me and sent me off to a specialist, but our bodies hang on to everything. My husband was okay now, so it was okay for me to fall apart.
Mm.
And for people to recognize that that happens.
Yeah.
So look back in your life. If you're diagnosed with something, what happened in the past that could have done this to you? And I'm not a doctor. I'm talking strictly from experience, from lived experience. But I had quite a struggle there with it, and I couldn't take medication. I have a reverse uh reaction to some medications. So I literally sat myself down because I'm in my 40s then, sat myself down and says, "So, what kind of life do you want?"
Mm.
And we had always talked about travel and stuff. And we had this trip planned. And I thought, if I keep going like this, I'll end up in a wheelchair. Do I want to end up there? And I'm not judging anybody who's there by all means, guys. This is just my lived experience. So I had this back and forth with me. If that was the case with me, I have wonderful people in my life. They would have taken care of me. I wouldn't have had to worry about anything. I would have been taken care of. But if I got better and beat this, what could I do with my life?
Mhm.
And with the help of the traditional medicine, non traditional, and just hard work and following alternatives, within the year, I was in what they called remission.
That's incredible.
I'll tell you though, like anything else, you guys, what you want it's not always easy. Like
Absolutely not. Yeah.
when I was on this special diet and exercise program and we went out and my husband says, "I cannot believe you are following this." But it was a decision I had made.
Yeah.
I had a bigger picture in my head.
Isn't that what is so true though, when you can hold these larger visions of where you want to go rather than what might be dragging you down in the moment, that's what propels you forward. That's how I see it. It's just like getting that vision. And I'm not saying it has to be something so sometimes people live so much in that vision that they forget that where the action is actually taking place is here in the
Mhm.
present. That's where you're making the changes. Instead of just sitting there waiting for something to happen to you, you actually have to recognize that hey, this is the present is the only place where I can make the changes or make the decisions. Or like you were doing, having the treatments or the special diet, whatever it was that you needed in this moment so that you could have and live into that vision that you wanted. And, you know
Yeah, and the thing is for people, and I really want them to hear this because that didn't all happen just because Les had a heart attack. When the naturopathic college and I went in tears one day and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I hurt everywhere. I don't hurt. I can't describe it. And that's when they came up with this and did some more checking. They figure I'd had it for about 10 years.
Oh my
But
goodness.
it's that straw that breaks the camel's back. And that's a saying that goes ancient saying, right?
Mhm.
Forever. So I, had all kinds of things. Looking back on your history, there's all these little maybe hints. And jumping forward, I was in 4 car accidents in 10 years. And not one of them my fault, guys, honest, somebody else. And, so the first 3, my injuries along the way, the first 3. So when I was in the 4th one and it took me out for a year, I pulled all my abdominal muscles and ended up I say I had God made me sit in my shit till I got it together
Wow.
and looked at my life because I said he gave me all these taps to recognize I should be changing direction.
Yeah.
And then he made me sit in my shit and do it. And sorry for the language. But I was busy, 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 busy. Anything, anything to keep busy. And I didn't know this till after. Hindsight is something there. Um, I raised my kids. We moved a lot. Then I was raising grandkids. We had our grandchildren living with us. And then this happened. So my life had to change. And it's interesting. That happened in 2002 and in 2000. And I want to say the Nuggets guys, it saved my life.
Mhm.
It happened in August, in September when they were doing further tests and that. I had ovarian cysts growing. Then in the October, I had something happen in my eye, and so they sent me for an MRI, and they found I had an arterial venous malformation. And then in the January, they diagnosed me with PTSD. All 3 of those could have been something else on
Mhm.
their own. But what it gave me, again, was to look at my life and believe me, nothing is really easy when you have to go through umpteen things to be better, but it's also our journey, right?
Right.
From that, in 2003, I started doing personal development courses. And then jump forward to 2010, I took my first training with Jack Canfield.
Mhm.
And in 2011, when we met, after I came home after our first week with Jack, I wrote a piece called The Night the Mask Cracked. And that's what happened to me. I had to sit there and I looked at my life. Who was I being with this mask of busyness
Oh,
that I wasn't dealing with life?
that is such an important point because as I'm sure our listeners are hearing this right now, I just want people to stop and think, what are you doing by staying so busy that you're ignoring what you really need to be either tending to or who you are meant to be, really, and the path that you really are supposed to be going on? What are you putting off that and not paying attention to when you are probably getting all these again little taps on the shoulders? All of us have them, but we just don't wanna recognize them or don't wanna honor them or just don't we're too caught up in where we are to pay attention until something happens, and like you said, it will happen in the body says,
Yeah.
You're done. You're done with all" and I can so relate to what you're saying because my body I went through a physical, um my body just physically started shutting down because I was going through so much stress at the time. I was working in the military with just a high basically you're on duty 24/7. And here
Yeah.
I had one little girl and was just about to give birth to my second and they're all fine now. And again, this is like 30 years ago. But my body was physically breaking down and I wound up in the emergency room and the doctor told me, he goes, "Lady, I don't know what's going on in your life, but unless you get rid of some of the stress, you are going to wind up with 2 motherless children." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't have time for this." What are you telling me? And he said basically, he said, "I can either admit you right now and you're gonna be in a hospital for a few days and you're gonna be under hospital care until you can get some rest, basically, or I can send you home and have you taken care of." And that's what he did. My mother and mother-in-law took care of me, but I was out for 3 days. I only woke up long enough to eat a little something and take another pill and let my body rest, but I was physically breaking down to the point I could not walk. I could not walk. I could not move. I was in so much pain, but that's exactly it. The body will tell you. There were other things that were going on.
Yeah,
It wasn't just work, but there were other things that I was ignoring and not paying attention to. And it just gets to be too much, and then the body is saying, "Okay, you've ignored us, so
yeah,
now it's time. We're taking things in our." And so that was, the big we get these big wake-up calls, and unfortunately, sometimes that's what it takes, is this
yeah,
slap across the face, this wake-up call that says, "We're gonna take you down until you get the message that we've been trying to tell you." So I guess I wanna just encourage people like you're saying, that if you are getting these messages, pay attention. Don't wait for it to get so severe and build up that your body can't take it anymore. If you're getting the signs, pay
yeah,
attention, look into them.
yeah.
Because we have to. We have
And
to.
our bodies are meant to heal. You cut yourself, you guys, it heals unless you've got another condition that doesn't heal. But really, if you're still here today, you scraped your knees, you cut yourself, you did all kinds of things, you maybe broke a bone, you're here, you've healed. And don't let anybody tell you you can't heal. 'Cause our bodies are meant to. With the right environment, it's like plants, right? Plants won't grow in an environment that isn't suitable for their growth. So where are you planting yourself?
Right? Right? Well, there's this thing, and I was just really, being caused to reflect on that actually just last night as I was thinking about our upcoming conversation today. And it's about surrounding yourself with the people, we went through the training
Yeah,
together too. And it said, you surround yourself with the people that you want to be most like, or what is it? They say you're the average of the 5 people that you
5
spend the
people
most
you hang
time.
with, yeah.
Yeah. You spend the most time with. And I thought, how things have shifted for me just in the past few weeks because, you and I have reconnected and have been having some wonderful conversations about growth and development and our business aspirations and things like that. And I also had some other conversations and just thinking about these types of things, all of a sudden there's so much energy. I was in this period where I was just kind of floating along and I wasn't quite sure. I don't know, I was chalking it up to New Year and the waiting for the year of the fire horse to kick in, but you know, but I was just kind of in a lull, so to speak. And then all of a sudden I started connecting with other people and getting this new energy in. And all of a sudden the creativity started developing and, just new programs and things. And now everything is so exciting, and I'm so, enthused about getting up in the morning and like, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do today," and it's just amazing how the ideas when you surround yourself with people who have that same energy, who aren't into the blaming and complaining, but they're taking responsibility for their own lives and are acting on their excitement, and that energy is just so catching, and that's what I love about being in this kind of space with yourselves and others as well.
Well, and that's so interesting. Like, I talk of little things that have happened to me or big things, and I call them pauses in my life, and last year was one of them, and not even realizing it was the year of the snake and that we're shedding a
Yeah.
skin. But last year was not an easy year for me. I had more health issues and stuff and that, and it's so interesting how connected we are to the shifts because when we came around and I don't usually follow the Chinese, astrology and that, but then this new energy came in, and it's like, my brain is going crazy,
Right?
and so I've created a retreat called The Magic in the Pause, because it's in those times that our lives pause that there's growth if we wanna look back at it, or if you wanna look at it and think, "Hmm," because again, that makes you sit when things happen, instead of being angry that it's happening, why don't we look at it and say, "This is happening and for me, I better pay attention."
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyways, that's what's new coming up for me.
Tell me more about this retreat that you're planning. I know you mentioned it's to me previously that it's a women's retreat, but I want to know how this has come about for you. What was the genesis behind it, and what's your vision for this retreat? So tell me everything about it. I love women's retreats. I just had
Yeah.
never been on one until even a year ago, and so I love the idea of this.
There's so much to learn, and I think some people have the misconception of what a retreat is. It's not a workshop. There are bits of workshop throughout the retreat. It's a 7-day, which is really an actual 5 full days of the retreat. Day 1 is flying in, day 2 or day 7 is going home. I'm having it in Canada. It just feels comfortable for me.
Hmm.
I've found this awesome church that's been turned into a bed and breakfast. It's like 100-year-old
That
stained glass
sounds
windows in
amazing.
it,
Ah.
in a small town of about I don't even know how many people are in there, but it's an hour outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada. And the feeling in there, I visited it, it's just got such a great feeling. And I classify it as getting off the world and letting the world go around without you. My first, I guess, retreat, I'd say, was a couples retreat. Les and I went after we'd been married for about 11 years. We went to a marriage encounter. And it was amazing. That was my first experience about just letting everything go without us and just concentrating on the two of us. And then several years ago, I went on, it was a women's retreat, but there were some men helping it. But it was actually based on, there were just all women there. And I went to Costa Rica on this retreat, and it was amazing. We did walks, we did meditation, we did workshops. We each had a chance to talk. And so, what this is really for, what the person that will resonate with this is somebody who's ready to move. Like I was ready to change when my friend said, "Hey, do this," and then just being open minded to say, "Okay, what else is there for me?"
Mhm.
And maybe it's got some things that are niggling at you. But we're going to go through. I work with 7 areas of your life, and through those 7 areas, they're just areas that will happen, and one is finance. And I'm not a financer, but I mean, what's holding you back? Like, I know for myself, when I was younger and for some little kids, I used to cry myself to sleep because I couldn't get a babysitter that I felt comfortable with, and I was paying somebody. And did we have enough money to change? Did we have enough money for me to stay home? All of these things that drain your energy, right?
Right?
Uh, your personal life. Are you taking time for yourself? Like, really, the best thing that we ever did was Les and I say we've been married for 54 years, but with shift work and travel and stuff with work, we've probably been together 25 years, but but we've been together, you know, but the blessing there is he gave me time to do things that I wanted. He supported me in that. I worked away after I retired. I worked in the Eastern Arctic. I was gone like 4 months or longer at a time. That's growth, guys. That's not, "I'm leaving my husband." That's growth. You're finding your own voice, your own
Yeah.
wing, whatever, right? You're not your kids are grown. My grandkids were no longer needed me. So your personal life. What about fun and recreation? How much fun do you have in your life anymore?
Right?
What's your play? I think people think they get to it because I think of my grandparents. I don't ever remember them being happy or doing something fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't wanna be that. I wanna be crazy, like spontaneity and doing things for fun. Um, and then there's exercise. What do you want? Like, go for walks. Like, I'm not a gym person. Don't even take me to a gym because I won't complete it.
You
But
and me both, yeah.
exercise in the water, like that, it makes me happy. Find what works for you. Uh, you know, Friendship. Again, who are you surrounding yourself with? Right? What's your legacy? What do you want people to remember you by?
Mhm.
Write your obituary and live by it. What do you want people to be saying about you?
Yeah.
And, okay, there's another one, but I can't remember off the top. But
Those
you
are
get the idea, right?
those
We're
are
just
all so
yeah,
fantastic and necessary that we pay
they're
attention to all of those areas
mhm,
in our lives because you're right, they impact everything
yeah,
that we do. They touch each other. You can't really have one without the other. So,
mhm,
you can't have fun in your life if you don't have a healthy body to enjoy
right.
it, right?
But
So
if your body's not healthy, if you start doing things that you enjoy, maybe your body will heal.
yeah. I golf with, a group of gentlemen. They're my what I call my super seniors, and several of them are in their 80s. And these guys, they get out there more than once a week. They not only do they golf with our group on Wednesdays, but then they also group golf 2, 3, or 4 other times a week with other groups, but they get out there, and some of them are even walking the course. I ride in the carts just because I enjoy racing down the fairways. But these gentlemen, they're so ornery. They're in their, what we got I've got 2 82-year-olds in the group. There's some 70-plus-year-olds in the group. There's I'm not quite into my 70s yet, so I'm considered a junior member as are some of the others. But these 70, 80-year-olds, and one guy's even 85 no, he's 86. Charlie is 86 years old. And they just get out there and they have so much fun. Sure, they've got aches and pains, but they get out there, they hit the balls, they rag on each other, and just have a darn good time. And that's why I like being with them because they remind me about getting out, being around people that you enjoy being around, that inspire you as well, and doing something that is fun. And
Yeah.
so I said, "What do I have to complain about when here these guys are out there just as a beautiful example of how to live life. You've done all the hard work, they have done all the hard work up to that time and they sacrificed and had careers and had families and they've had spouses that passed and so on. And they've had illnesses, so on and so forth. But here they are. This is where they are today, enjoying life. So they're having all of these things blended in and we all look forward to getting together every Wednesday because it's like, "There you are again. Hello." You know? What a great day it is.
Well, and when you come together like that in a healthy group, like but there's all of you. So the group of us, however number there will be, there, we're there to support and love you to where you are
Yeah.
and encourage you to where you want to go. And there's going to be exercises and there's going to be some outings in that. And it's I can't go into all of that because that takes away from the experience, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you surround yourself, like the group that you golf with, I know that you had an incident with your foot,
Yes.
but doesn't that encourage you? Like, if these guys can do it, I damn well better get myself out there and get
That's
going again,
that's
right?
just that is exactly it. One day, I wasn't playing as well as I could. I had a bad day on the golf course, and I don't even know if it was because I was having a leg issue. I pulled a hamstring at one time or such and that and the other. But the 85-year-old guy came up to me, he goes, "What happened to you today out there?" He goes, "What was your game? Why was your game off?" He's ragging on me. I'm like, "No excuses, no excuses." I
Yeah.
just was not hitting the ball well today. But I love that, I have nothing to complain about when I see other people just putting themselves out there, putting anything else aside, and just living life to the fullest because this is what we've got. and, with the people that you surround yourself with, just get out there. That's what I like to your, m I wanna say part of one of your mottos, or so to speak, you use what is it? The magic of the pause? Is that what it was? Or the magic of
Magic in the pod.
magic in the pause. I so resonate with
Yeah.
that because that's also what I'm teaching is the magic of now, and I think you and I both
Yeah.
connected over that.
Yeah.
It's about being right here, being in the moment, appreciating the moment, because this is where we can make the magic happen, is right now.
Well, and when you come to the retreat, you're putting a pause on that other
Yeah.
part of your life, right? And it how it all fits in is in 2021, after going through 2020, and I put a compilation together of stories of the year the world paused,
Tell us
stories of
about that.
inspiration and
Ye
transformation.
Yes, I read that you did that book.
Because I had such a different experience than what I was hearing all around me during 2020. So while other people were stuck in their homes or working from home, I was home maybe 14 days out of 2020.
Mm.
And I was working up in Iqaluit in the Eastern Arctic, and I was a relief dispatcher. And when the shutdown happened, I'd already been up there for a couple of weeks. So I said, just keep me up here. I'm not exposed to down there. It's a fly in only.
Oh,
That
wow.
territory, it's Canada's newest territory, the third territory in the Eastern Arctic, and only fly in. There's not a community there that you can drive to
Whoa.
unless you're in a snowmobile and have a boat. And so we're isolated. So they were able to control who came up there. And so I was already up there. So I spent 5 months up there.
Wow.
And then I flew home for a couple days, and then I flew up to the Yukon, so just south of Alaska, and worked there for a month. But again, I was allowed to I had to isolate in place, but I had permission to just come and go from work because we're in a dispatch center. We're locked in. Like there's no public, no anything. I had to wear a mask the whole time because I didn't want to expose the other operators. And people brought my groceries or whatever I needed. So it was typical lockdown, except that I got to do my job because let's face it, guys, nobody wants all the police to be in their homes doing working from home, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I went back and forth, but each time I changed areas, I had to isolate for 2 weeks, but could go to and from work as long as I wore a mask. And so I thought that November in 2020, I was on a course with uh Kathy, Kathleen Seeley. And I thought woke up one morning with this title in my head. And guys, pay attention to what shows up.
Yeah.
I the year the world paused, and I could not get rid of that. So our next call as a group, I says, "Who wants to be in a book with me?" But this is the criteria. I wanna know where you were when the lockdown happened. I wanted to know what happened during that time, and I wanna know how you came out the other end. And to me, I had great experiences, and the lockdown was again a pause. Like we learned about this Zooming and stuff. I joined groups. It was wonderful that I could talk to my friends all over the world or to my kids. Like, where's gratitude in this? The gratitude is that
Right?
we have this. Like you and I, Kathy, we've known each other since 2011, but now we can see each other more often and talk more often.
Isn't that great? I mean, we've stayed connected through
Yeah.
social media or maybe a couple of emails here and there, but look at this now, the technology that we have to stay connected, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is amazing.
So instead of being frustrated and say, I can't do something, how can you change that? How can I do this?
That's powerful.
And that's where it came into when we retired, we invested in our children. Children don't pay dividends when they grow up. So Les and I'd always wanted to travel. So I said, "How can we travel?" So now we house sit all over the world, and we live in all these beautiful homes and don't pay for them, and we have all these amazing pets, and we don't have a vet bill. So
Tell
I've
me
got the
tell me
best of all worlds.
where have you gone? Give our listeners just some of the
House
places
sat
that
in
you've been.
Spain. We house sat in Spain. We house sat twice in France on a horse farm for 5 weeks at a time. We've house sat in Scotland twice, in north of Inverness, so we in the Black Isle for a little dog that we fell in love with, so we have so twice there. We met amazing peoples that are friends, and we always take time to travel, so, a friend from Canada was, going to university in Cheltenham in, England, so we went and spent 2 days to see her there. Another friend in Canada, she was born in the UK. Her mom was down in, Devon, so we took the train down to Devon and met her. One of the girls in the book, that had wrote a chapter in the book, she said lives in London. She says, "Janet, you can stay with us. Park your suitcase, just go and have fun."
Wow.
We've house sat in 2 places, one, uh, a beautiful, beautiful home, and they contacted us, it was awesome, to see, and they came to Canada skiing while we stayed in their beautiful home. And another one that, they contacted us because we were on this site, this membership site, and people can go look and see, and, we looked after their cat, and so we've gotten to see so much. We've house sat in Denver, Colorado. We had a great time down there, met some wonderful people, and right across Canada now, we've been we've been twice or 3 times in 2 years to Europe. But we've been staying home the last couple years, because there were some health issues, but also we've built up a network that we're in demand. Like this year, I blocked off time to go camping with the kids, but 2026 is booked right into December. And
Wow.
I've got 3 bookings already for 2027.
Oh my
So
gosh.
and all over, like, I'll be in British Columbia, in September and October. We're going to Manitoba next. We're in Alberta right now. So, I have just amazing people in my life, and I've had people say, "How can you afford all this?" And I'm saying, because one lady says, "Did you win the lottery?" And I says, "No, we just planned our life." I We created what we wanted. We
Mhm.
took what we didn't have and asked, "How can we?" And that's what I want for people coming to the retreat, to know that at 70 years old, and Les is going to be 79, that we can still do things. There's lots of life left in us.
I
No matter
love that.
where you are in life, what do you want? And let's plan together. I couldn't do this without all my friends and talking like you and I talked the other day, and we're brainstorming like crazy.
Right? I love that, and I think that's what we need. We need other people. That's why
Yeah.
this retreat is so powerful, because the connections that you make, the expansiveness that can come from that, sometimes that's just what we need, is we need someone else to help us believe in our own dreams instead of we kinda wanna put ourselves down, but we just need maybe just a little nudge or a little push or just somebody to help open that window for us so that we can see the possibilities when well, we can't see it ourselves, somebody else can. And that's what I think you are such a great example for others to be able to do because look at what all the things that you're doing. Um, one of the other things that I want to cover, besides your wonderful travel and the book that you've written, I want you to elaborate on the talk that you gave at the United Nations because you had mentioned that at some event or someplace, I think several years prior to that happening, that you had just been asked, "What is it that you really wanted to do?" And I think you said, "I'd like to speak at the UN," and then here several years. So I want you to talk
Yeah.
about that because I watched the video of it on YouTube, and I highly encourage anybody to go see that. So I want you to make sure that people know, and I will make sure to put all of this information in the show notes if anybody's interested in attending Janet's retreat or purchasing her book or learning more about just listening to her UN speech. we'll make sure all of that information is in the show notes, but I want you to talk about that because that is such just it was such a heartwarming talk that you gave.
So at the same time that you and I did Train the Trainer, I went, uh, to some other programs, and then from then I wanted to be an author. Like, one of the events was, "If you wanna write be in my book and help promote yourself, sign here and I'll talk to you." So this one woman, she was having a workshop, and I wanted to be in her book, like, because at our come as you'll be party, I wanted to be an author, right? That's one of the
Mhm.
things I wanted to be. So anyways, I was at an event there and she says, "Okay, I want everybody to stand up, say who you are, where you're from, and what do you want to do?" And so I did that and I stood up and says, "I want to speak in the United Nations." Careful about your words. And this will be NLP if you've ever heard of NLP. What
Yeah.
I really wanted was I wanted to speak to the UN, but
Ah.
I said I want to speak in the United Nations. So I had a couple people come after over and say, "Hey, Janet, if when you're ready, let me know." Anyhow, that was 2011 or 2012, I guess that was probably. And then, we get busy with life, right? And so I'd been working up north and I was home and I was sleeping in and picked up my phone and started going, and I sign up for things all the time, and this one popped up, and because Jack's name was, this guy worked with Jack and has worked with Jack, and it said, "Do you wanna speak in the UN?" And I'm going, so I looked at it and it was coming up, like, I think this was April and the event was in June, and it was a lot of money. A lot of money. So it was actually a program, everybody. That's what it was. But it was speaking to your peers. Part of the program was they would do the videoing that you'd be filmed and you'd get all that stuff. So I phoned my husband at work and I'm crying. And I said to Les, I says, "I want to do this. I asked God for this. And if I don't go, he's not going to send me any more stuff that I
Right?
asked." And so I said, "It's a lot of money. I don't know how we're gonna do it." He says, "We'll do it." And thankfully, they had a payment plan and stuff. So they paired me up with a coach, and the guy was amazing. But if you've ever heard Wayne Dyer speak, somebody asked Wayne Dyer one time, "How long does it take you to write a talk?" And Wayne Dyer said, "I quit writing talks." He says, "Because then I walk in the room and the energy brings something else in."
That's yeah, marvelous.
And so anyways, there's a long story to how I got there. But anyways, I end up going to New York. The night before, I wrote down some stuff I wanted to say. But you guys, your story is embodied in you. It's
There you
so
go.
there.
That's
Like,
it.
this call with you has not been scripted, right?
No, we
It's
didn't even yeah, we
flow.
didn't make any notes,
So
nothing.
so that night before, and I just wrote some stuff down. And so I went in and I got up on stage and I just talked.
And, oh,
And the bonus in that, I was speaking to my peers, right? We were all there for the same thing. But when the sound man took my mic off, he said to me, "Thank you for the message." Now,
wow.
guys, it's not always who you think is listening or not listening, but it's that person on the peripheral, maybe that you've changed their life.
Yeah, and it could just be one person, but you
One
made
person.
such a difference to that one person. Your talk was amazing. I really it was so heartfelt, and I think that's what really resonates or will resonate to those who haven't heard it yet, is it has such application for anybody who listens to it because I think we can see ourselves through the experiences that you've had as well. And the way you told your story, I'm sure will inspire others to think about their own story and how their story can be the inspiration for someone else. So It's such a beautiful talk, and I commend.
And the difference is, like, for you and I, we've got lived experience. This
Mhm.
isn't something we've made up or learnt in a book or done on a course. We've taken the stuff with the courses that we've taken that enhanced what we already have.
Right? That's such a great
Mm.
point because we all have so much alre we have our gifts within us.
Yep,
We just need the help sometimes to recognize what those gifts are and be able to bring them out. I
yep,
truly believe that we have what we need, the knowledge is within us.
yeah.
The
We all
gifts
have it
are
in
within
us.
us. We
You know
have it
what?
we have it in us.
I talk about this all the time. When you're as old as I am, you know that you used to have to prime the pump to get
Mhm.
the water, and you're from the Mideast,
I'm from
or
the
the
Midwest, so yes, yes,
West,
exactly right.
right?
Yep,
And
mhm,
you had to pour some water in the pump outside to get it prime the
yes.
pump. And so all the courses and stuff I've taken and all the things that I've done and the conversations, it's just priming and helping bring out what's already in us.
Mhm.
And that's what this retreat is all about. I'm not going to change your life. Your life is going to change.
Right?
I'm just there to help bring it out and prime it. And I have two wonderful people that are coming, volunteering their time, that are coming, that are experts and wonderful coaches in their own way, that are there to just serve. We're here to serve you. We're showing you that there's things there in you that are dormant. We want to bring them out.
Right?
I'm not the end for you. I'm the beginning.
Right?
And I know so many amazing people like you, Kathy, with you've done. I had a reading with you the other day that was just amazing, and it just helped me bring out more stuff in me. And that's what we're here for. We're of service. And if Jack Canfield hadn't been of service, you and I would not be here
We
today.
would never have met. And you know, that's another little nugget is that there are no coincidences.
No.
We always meet the people that we need to meet either at the moment or who knows where they're going to
Yeah.
be further down the line for
Yeah.
us. But
Yeah.
I truly believe that nothing happens by accident. To us or for us. It's always happening it's actually happening for us when you look at things like that. And I love so much what you said about, "I'm not gonna change your life. You're going to really just be able to bring out what's already there within yourself." I like to also think of it as, yeah, I'm not gonna change your life, and I'm not gonna have all the answers for you. I'm not gonna have maybe even any of the answers for you. But what I'm going to do is help you orient the direction that maybe you need to go, help you find that
Yeah.
right direction for you at this time. And I don't think there's any wrong direction for people either. You're going down
No, 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 no. It's your
the r
journey.
it's your journey. You're gonna go down the paths that you need to get the lessons. So sometimes people say, "I don't wanna be on this path," but you know what? I always tell people, "You're exactly where you need to be," because there's probably
Look at the nuggets I collected along the way, right?
yeah,
That I
you're
can use with the stories that might resonate with somebody and shift something. Like Les and I drive a lot. Like we've driven across Canada, we've driven across the States, and we drove in France. I don't drive in England, like, thank you, no, but we have driven. He has driven a motorhome in Australia and New Zealand, though.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing is that there's a something in you that maybe needs to be nurtured. And lots of I you guys, I learn lots for you. I watch lots of videos and training and stuff because it's good for me and it helps me maybe give a voice to something I didn't know how to give a voice. We're just like that plant. We're giving you some space and some fertilizer for a better word.
Yeah.
And yet you're
Yeah.
going to be in farming country. You'll have
Basically,
to
we're taking our shit and helping helping you with yours.
because because there's next steps. Like
Yeah.
I had coaches, I had trainers, and then I moved to another. I am not your end all be all. I want you to know that. But between you and me and the people we know, we can just share their information and they can move on to the direction they need to go. or want to go.
Exactly. And I think the benefit too of working with people who have done any kind of whatever kind of training that they might be offering or sharing, like what you're going to be sharing at your women's retreat. And as you and I also met, we were able to get the wisdom from those who've gone before us, like the Jack Canfields and other trainers that we've met, because now they've taken their experiences and condensed it for us. So then, and we don't have to go through all of that learning process
Yeah.
because we're benefiting from their experience. They're condensing it and making it easier for us to get on the paths that we need to be on. So I feel like we can be extensions of that now with what the work that you're doing, with what I'm doing. We're taking our lived experiences and putting them together for those who may need the service. And then by exchange, we're hoping that the people that we work with can now take that knowledge and just keep the chain moving, just keep the light going, keep the flame going, and expanding it though. I think that's just the most beautiful gift that we can take away and that we can give to others.
And it's not just about the facilitators.
Yeah.
I've been to training, I'm sure you've been to trainings, where the facilitator may not have been our cup of tea,
Yeah.
but people we met at the event
Yes. Yes.
changed our lives.
Yeah. And that's
And
the most
so
beautiful thing.
and that's where it comes into with you saying, where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. Because I can tell you that some of the trains, the people I've met, and literally everyone, I know people from all over the world. And thankfully for technology, I can stay in touch with them.
Isn't
But
that the most beautiful
yeah,
thing that we can do?
yeah,
What what a gift to be able, just like we're connecting right now.
yeah.
So Janet, as we're winding down this conversation, and I'm sure we're gonna have more of these. These are so rich, and I love the sharing and the
We'll have
information.
to come together after the retreat.
There we go. I know, and I wish I could be there, but I've got other obligations
I
happening at that
know,
stage.
but it's
Go ahead and
exciting stuff.
give us the date. Again, I will put all of this
Yeah.
information in the show notes, but give us the date
May
and the
7th,
location
May 7th to 14th
of 2026.
of 2026. And you'll fly into Winnipeg, Manitoba. And it's an hour drive to the, retreat where we're having a retreat. So people can talk to me.
Yeah.
You don't have to decide. You can talk to me and see if it's a fit for you. Like, it won't be a fit for everybody, but who knows? Something else I do, maybe.
Or maybe
But
they know somebody who
or they know somebody else, and somebody else might be flying in at the same time as you and being renting a car and can drive with you. It's experience, guys. I cannot tell you how much I've gained from all the trainings I've done and all the places, things I've attended. And so I want that for you. I want that. I want you to be saying at 72, I did this and this
Yeah.
changed my life.
Exactly. Exactly, and it's like, why wait? Wherever you are,
Yeah.
again, no
Yeah.
matter what age, no matter what
Yeah.
stage, why wait?
Yeah.
As what does one of our other friends say? It's time.
It, yeah. That's Romeo.
That's
It's
Romeo.
fine.
It's time,
And like Jack says, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So
right?
if someone's waiting, I want to talk to you.
Exactly. Okay, Janet, so tell us how people can find you. What's the best way that they can connect with you? If they're interested, and again, we'll put all of this in the show notes.
Yeah. And you guys, there's nobody else like me. Janet Wiszowaty is, I think I'm the only one at Janet Wiszowaty on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn. And also you can put my phone number in there and
Okay,
people can
so
text.
we'll get all of that
Yeah.
information from you again for
Yeah.
those who want to connect with Janet.
Yeah.
And I really can't encourage you all enough to reach out
Yeah.
to her because she is just one of those, what I like to call just one of these living treasures with so much knowledge and so much warmth and wisdom behind her to share with you. And you will leave so enriched and so emboldened by what she has to share with you. Definitely things are going to change and be enhanced for you by connecting with Janet. So I can't encourage you enough to do that. So again, that information I'll make sure we put in the show notes, and I hope that people will reach out to you. So
Yeah, and, so somebody just asked me if I'd have one locally, so that's gonna be in the works because this is a travel one for me as well, right? But, one of the ladies that we house it for says, "Well, if you have one locally, I wanna come." So and then there are future stuff planned. One is called The Magic of Play. You never
beautiful. That one sounds like fun. That one sounds like great fun as well.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
as we get ready here to wind down, Janet, any other last words or any bit of information or piece of advice that you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I wanna tell people that, hang with me. I only know amazing people, and so you'll get to know these amazing people with me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's why you are here with me today because of the beautiful connections that we have together. So anyway, I want to thank our guest, Janet Wiszowaty, for being here today. And I want to thank all of the listeners for joining us today. And I hope you found a few nuggets here to be able to take away with you. Please feel free to leave any comments or questions, in the podcast reviews, or just feel free to reach out to me and or Janet. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day and sending you lots of love, hugs, and aloha. Thank you for being here. Thank you,
Thank
Janet.
thanks a lot, Cassie.